Hey guys, welcome back to some more casual Tryhards Magic 2015 Commander spoiler. Alright, let's get right into it. So the next card we have is Mizzix's Mastery. It is a red sorcery spell, converted mana cost of 4, costs 1 red, 3 colorless. It is exile target card that's an instant or sorcery from your graveyard. For each card exiled this way, copy it. You may cast the copy without paying its mana cost. Exile Mizzix's Mastery. Kinda cool. But it has an overload cost too. So for those of you who don't remember overload, that's from the Return to Ravnica block. Overload says, you may cast this spell for its overload cost. If you do, change its text by replacing all instances of target with each. So that makes the spell really awesome. It means you get a bunch of instants and sorceries in your graveyard. You cast it for its overload cost, and you get to do each instant or sorcery in your graveyard, not just target or one. So really good. Definitely going to be in the red and blue commander deck, but that's going to be a great card to play with. Our next one is Magus of the Wheel. Now this one's pretty cool. So it's a 3/3 for 3 mana, 1 red, 2 colorless. You can pay 1 red, 1 colorless, and tap him and sacrifice him. Each player discards his or her hand, then draws 7 cards. If you've cast pretty much everything in your hand, done lots of damage with red, this guy's great for replenishing your hand. It's a card draw of 7. It's really cool. It's also good at getting rid of other players' hands that, you know, maybe someone's got a 15 card hand and they're fielding like a Venser's Journal or a Reliquary Tower, and they've just got this massive amount of cards, and you can just see it on their face that they're getting this awesome combo coming up and they've got everything they need. Magus of the Wheel that. They lose that, they only draw 7 new ones. Pretty awesome. Next we have Anya, Merciless Angel. I really like this one. It's in the red-white commander deck. It can be your commander. She's a legendary angel. She's 1 white, 1 red, 3 colorless. You get a 4/4 flying. Anya Merciless Angel gets +3/+3 for each opponent whose life total is less than half his or her starting life total. So that's pretty good. So yeah, anyone who's at half or less life, they give her +3/+3, which is pretty cool. And then as long as an opponent's life total is less than half his or her starting life total, Anya has Indestructible. Also awesome. It's great when your commander is indestructible, really hard to get rid of. So I'm very excited about that card. Next we have Great Oak Guardian. He's a 4/5 green tree folk creature. Costs 6 mana, so 1 green and 5 colorless. He does have Flash and Reach, so 2 very useful powers there. For those of you who aren't familiar with Flash, that means you can cast him anytime you could cast an instant spell. Extremely useful in a lot of situations. So he does something when he enters the battlefield, which is pretty awesome. So when he enters the battlefield, creatures target player controls get +2/+2 until end of turn, and untap them. So this, I mean, you could use this for your benefit. While you're attacking, you can flash him in and give your creatures a surprise bump that your opponent really wasn't expecting. What you could also do is, when one of your opponents is attacking another opponent, you could flash this guy in and help that one opponent out. And politically, it could be, you know, a real good move. You help one guy out, maybe he'll leave you alone for just a little longer. Or if, you know, one guy's really kind of dominating, it gives that other player a bit of an edge. So yeah, that's going to be a good card. Only an uncommon, so wouldn't be hard to get lots of them after Commander comes out. Next we have Arachnid Genesis. It is a 3 mana instant. You get 1 green, 2 colorless. It is put X 1/2 green spider creature tokens with reach onto the battlefield. where X is the number of creatures attacking you. Prevent all combat damage that would be dealt this turn by non-spider creatures. It's the ultimate surprise block. They've got reach, so they're going to block anything with flying, and you get X 1/2 green spiders with reach. That's amazing. So I'm thinking if you have a white weenie rush coming at you, like 10 or 15 little soldiers coming at you at once, you play Arachnid Genesis for 3 mana, which is really low cost, and you get that many green spiders with reach, and those soldiers don't deal any damage that turn. So you could possibly take out a lot of those soldiers if they're small enough. If there was a way that you could also give all your spiders death touch, that would be a really killer combo. So excited for that spell. Next one, Meteor Volley. Really like this one. It's a red spell. I imagine it's going to be in the red-blue deck. Well, it could also be in the red-white deck. It is 3 red mana and X. It's a sorcery. So Meteor Volley deals 4 damage to X target creatures and or players. Now, for anyone who's played Commander, you know that mana is usually pretty abundant. So this is it's great because you can target lots of creatures and deal 4 damage to them, and you can target players too. It's a very straightforward damage spell, and I really like it, and I really like that it's not one of those that says it deals damage to everyone and everything. You can kind of pick and choose, and like in a Commander game, you're gonna have quite a bit of mana at a few turns in. Like this is probably gonna be able to give you a near board wipe of your opponent's stuff, allow you to keep your stuff, and you're still dealing damage to your opponents as well. Really awesome, really like it. Next we have Grasp of Fate. It's a white card. 2 white and 1 colorless. It's an enchantment, and it reminds me of Oblivion Ring, but it's better. So when it enters the battlefield, for each opponent, exile up to 1 target non-land permanent that player controls until Grasp of Fate leaves the battlefield. So, really awesome, because it's like you, in a 4-player game, you basically get 3 Oblivion Rings for the price of 1. That's awesome. I just think it's really good. It also gets around, there's a combo for getting rid of Emrakul, the Aeon's Torn. I know he's banned in Commander, but I might be using this for casual play for anyone who's going to use that. Callan has one, so he could field it at some point. But what it does is it enters the battlefield, then targets something. So it gets past that it can't be targeted by colored spells, which I really like. That's good against Eldrazi. So I really like Grasp of Fate. Okay, so next we have Marin of Clan Meltoff. Really cool artwork on this one. She's the I was reading on MagicSpoiler.com. Lots of people thought this would be new artwork for Deathrite Shaman, but it ended up being Marin of Clan Meltoff. She's a green-black commander. She's 3/4 legendary human shaman. 1 green, 1 black, 2 colorless to cast. So whenever another creature you control dies, you get an experience counter. So experience counters again, they're awesome. And this one's just as good as the other ones. So you get an experience counter whenever another creature you control dies. At the beginning of your end step, choose target creature card in your graveyard. If that card's converted mana cost is less than or equal to the number of experience counters you have, return it to the battlefield. Otherwise, put it into your hand. So, beginning of your end step, you get to return a creature from your graveyard to your hand, at least, and then if its converted mana cost is less than or equal to the number of experience counters you have, it goes right onto the battlefield. Like that's amazing. If you can get your experience counters up, 6, 7, you're basically being able to bring back anything you want from your graveyard. It's I really like this one. Really excited to play that green-black commander deck. Yeah, it's just it's a really good creature. Next we have Aether Snatch. So this is a blue instant, and it's pretty cool. So it's converted mana cost to 6, so you got 2 blue, 4 colorless, and instant speed. So gain control of target spell. So it's not just target creature, like anything like that. It's actually gain control of target spell. You may choose new targets for it, and if that spell is a permanent, that permanent enters the battlefield under your control. So this is a really versatile gain control spell. Someone's casting, you can even see like someone's tapping a whole bunch of mana, and you just get the spell ready to cast because they're casting a big creature. Instantly gain control of it. It enters the battlefield under your control instead of theirs, which I imagine would trigger any abilities that creature might have. If it's a big, say you're playing against a red deck, and it's a big red, nasty damage spell, gain control of it. Choose a new target, send it right back at them. That's really awesome. If it's a really good enchantment you like, it's gonna really help you instead of your, when you want it to help you instead of your opponent, you can gain control of that. It's just a really awesome blue spell. It's 6 mana, but it's totally worth it, and an instant speed too. So good, really like it. Next we have Scourge of Meltoff. The artwork looks basically like that Marin of Meltoff that we saw last time. That was her name, right? Marin of Clan Meltoff, yeah. So it's almost like an alternate artwork for her because it's got the dragon that she has in the other one flying in this one, and you can see her on a cliff with her little orb of light there. So Scourge of Meltoff is a zombie dragon. It's a 6/6 flying black zombie dragon. Its converted mana cost is 7, so 2 black and 5 colorless. And you may cast Scourge of Meltoff from your graveyard by paying 2 black and sacrificing 2 creatures rather than paying its mana cost. So that's good. It's not amazing, but it's good because if you get this out and it dies, you can get it back relatively easily. From what I've seen with the other cards, we're going to have a lot of creatures to sacrifice, and that kind of combos well together. So you can sacrifice a couple of creatures that do something else. Whenever a player sacrifices a creature, you get an experience counter. I can't remember which one that was on, but that's on another one. So double whammy there. You're able to bring back Scourge of Meltoff and get something else beneficial like an experience counter, which seem to be pretty important and do pretty awesome stuff in this new Commander set. So that's a good dragon card. Next we have Synthetic Destiny. It is a blue instant for 6 mana, so 2 blue, 4 colorless. Now this is one that it's a bit wordy, but it's cool. Exile all creatures you control. At the beginning of the next end step, reveal cards from the top of your library until you reveal that many creature cards. Put all creature cards revealed this way onto the battlefield, then shuffle the rest of the revealed cards into your library. So I'm imagining this in the green-blue deck. Maybe you've made a ton of snakes, or you've cast that spider spell, Arachnid, whatchamacallit, that I was talking about earlier. You've got yourself a lot of little creatures that are, not necessarily amazing on their own, but good in a group. Well, you play Synthetic Destiny, exile all of them. Say you've got 10, 11 little weenie creatures. You get to reveal cards from the top of your library until you hit 11 creatures, and then you get to put them all in the battlefield. And, you don't have to throw your other cards into the graveyard. You should just shuffle them back into your library. So you get a free shuffle from that. It's always good to shuffle your deck, in my opinion. It's always beneficial. And yeah, you get 11 creatures that are probably going to be better than your little weenie creatures. So really like that spell. Really good one to play. And last but not least, we have Pathbreaker Ibex. I don't know if anyone's seen man arguing with an Ibex on YouTube, but check that out. It is hilarious. I hope this card will be as fun as that video is. So, Pathbreaker Ibex is a 3/3 green goat. Goats are cool. I like goats. He costs 6 mana, so he's a 3/3, and you're like, 6 mana, that's not that great for a 3/3. Well, it seems a little costly. Well, he does something else. So he's 2 green, 4 colorless. Whenever Pathbreaker Ibex attacks, creatures you control gain trample and get +X/+X until end of turn, where X is the greatest power among creatures you control. This reminds me of Craterhoof Behemoth, which is a big creature from Abyss and Restored, I believe. And I really, really liked that creature. It did a little bit more than this one, but this one's it's only 6 mana. That's easy to get out in a commander game. And whenever it attacks, every one of your creatures gets +X/+X. So if you have one big creature, a bunch of little weenie creatures, as long as you got that big creature attacking, or not attacking, as long as you got Pathbreaker Ibex attacking, everything you have gets, let's say you have a 9/9, it gets +9/+9 until end of turn and trample. That's amazing. That's a game ender there. So, well, maybe not in Commander because everyone's got pretty large life totals, but it could be something that defeats one of your opponents, knocks someone out of the game. Just one attack with that. So that's really cool to have. I'm imagining maybe if you had a Worldspine Worm. So the 15/15 Worldspine Worm, and you have Pathbreaker Ibex, and maybe 6 or 7 other little, weenie creatures. You attack with Pathbreaker, and your other ones, and everyone gets +15/+15 and trample. Pretty awesome. That's pretty devastating. You could probably take out 3 players doing that. It's definitely possible. Anyway, thank you very much for watching. Remember to subscribe. Check out our other videos. If you haven't seen the other spoilers, definitely go check those out. Like our videos. Check out our other videos. They're really good. We put a lot of work into them. And we'll see you again next time with some more spoilers. Thanks for watching.